How's it going, everyone? We've got a lot of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero updates to go over as the reviews are being posted, and I want to run you guys through that. Right now, the Metacritic score is looking incredibly positive, especially for an anime video game. You guys, anime games generally aren't received the best, especially from critics. I just feel like, you know, the history of anime games has always been kind of stuck at best in the mid to high 70s. This one doing a fair bit above that, so we'll talk about that. Also, some updates on the PC version of the game. Unfortunately, it looks like there is no preload for the PC version of the game. There is some concern on whether or not early access is actually a thing. Guys, early access is happening on Steam, and the download should be live come 6 p.m. Eastern time today. We'll clarify that. Our friends at Green Man Gaming are sending out keys for the deluxe edition, so I'll give mention to that if you do want to pick up the game if you have yet to and get it a little bit cheaper. And then also the great outlet Steam Deck HQ did drop some Steam Deck footage. Unfortunately, if you're looking to play it on the deck, it's not ideal. Certainly playable based on the footage I've seen, but not ideal. All right, right off the top, do want to go over the critic reviews on Metacritic right now. This score is going to fluctuate. I saw IGN is doing a review in progress. I think that's the most sensible thing to do, given that you couldn't have spent a lot of time with the online component without, you know, everybody being online. But, you know, as far as the offline component goes, we do have some insight. Comic Book gave it a perfect score. Eurogamer Portugal, perfect score. Gamers RD at 95. You have a lot of 9s. Noisy Pixel, 9 out of 10. True Gaming, 9 out of 10. Game Blog France, 9 out of 10. Gaming Bible, 9 out of 10. And ultimately, the Metacritic score does work out to an 84. An 84 for general games a lot of the times is seen as not so great of a score. You guys, anime games in general have been kind of hard stuck at the mid to high 70s for a long time. Storm 4, which Naruto Storm 4 that is, which I feel like most people receive as a really solid game, that's at a 79. So this at an 84, like low to mid 80s, that's incredible for an anime video game. I don't know what Cursed Clash is. Let's look up what Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash is. A 44, in my opinion, the worst video game of the year. So yes, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is orders of magnitude better than Cursed Clash, which was a pile of crap. But a Sparking Zero at an 84, really, really solid score. Again, it'll fluctuate a little bit, but I think it is kind of set in stone. It'll be hovering around the mid-80s, which is, again, incredibly positive. Growing up with anime games, guys, I've seen so many anime games just get panned by the critics. Even, like, games that are received incredibly well within the Dragon Ball community. A Budokai 3 is a 77. A Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is a 72. Tenkaichi 2, 72. Tenkaichi, 72. Like, this is far better than some of the best received games in Dragon Ball history, and it is generally, the fans of Dragon Ball enjoy these games a lot more than critics. And so, I don't know. I don't want to hate on the critics or anything like that. I always feel like anime games were a little bit undersold. Like, yeah, some of them are straight up terrible. Cursed Clash is legitimately one of the worst games I've ever played in my life, but looking at, like, Budokai 3, like a 77 for Budokai 3, we being serious here, Tenkaichi 3, a 72. These games, like, if you talk to the Dragon Ball community, these games are absolutely revered as some of the best games of all time, and that's where they're settling at on Metacritic. And the perception in gaming these days is anything below a 90 is seen as a mid-level game, guys. Yes, Metaphor got a 94 or whatever. That's a JRPG done by the creators of Persona that have a history of getting high critic reviews. This, a Dragon Ball title, again, we just went through the other Dragon Ball games. What's Kakarot rated at? Let's look at that. A 78, like, a 73, excuse me, on PS4. A 73, and Kakarot is another game that's beloved. These Dragon Ball games, and anime games in general, I truly believe, get the short end of the stick. Storm 2, which I thought was great as a Naruto title, a 76. So, you know, again, I do feel like anime games are generally underrated, or maybe we just perceive them at an elevated rate because we're fans of Dragon Ball, we're fans of Naruto, we're fans of the anime that we're buying video games for, and you know, that is just the reality. I feel like back in the day, I don't think this is as much the case anymore, but back in the day, I feel like they were handing out people that weren't fans of Naruto to review the Naruto games on these critic outlets. I don't believe that's the case anymore. There's so many people in the game that I think they're actually giving like a Sparking Zero to fans of Dragon Ball and hardcore diehard Dragon Ball fans, people that have played the other titles, but I digress. 84, incredibly positive score, especially for a Dragon Ball game. All right. some updates on the PC version. Deluxe Edition codes from Green Man Gaming are being sent out. It's 8% off for $92. You'll redeem it directly on Steam, and you'll be good to go. You won't pay tax either, so considerably cheaper. However, the PC version of the game, you guys, will not have a preload. If you go on over to your Steam page, if you already bought the Deluxe Edition, the date says October 10th. Do not fret. This is October 10th is the release for the Standard Edition. There have been other early access games in the past, and it's always been listed as the actual date, or the non-deluxe edition date, the non-advanced access date. It will be out later today, October 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern. It sucks that we're gonna have to go through a 30 gigabyte download and potentially 40 gigabytes with that day one patch. I always feel like PC sometimes gets the short end of the stick, and why? It's 2024, preload should be available across the board, and PC is going to be one of the premier platforms that people play this game on. I think it's gonna do fairly well on PC, and the fact that there is no preload as I'm recording this video, 1:50 p.m. Eastern time, there is no preload available. Like, come on, man, what are we doing here? An archaic outlook by Bandai Namco, and you know, it's another point, like, yes, am I being a little bit nitpicky? And a lot of you guys are playing it on PlayStation, it's not going to affect you whatsoever, but the fact that there's no cross-platform play, and now the fact that there's no preload on PC, it's just archaic, and ultimately, the cross-platform play is a hindrance from the long-term outlook of the game, more so than preloading. Like, preloading at the end of the day, whatever, like, console guys get to play it an hour earlier at most, but I digress. It's still a little bit of a bummer, but if you do want to get the game a little bit cheaper, $92 over at GMG, great pickup there. And then lastly, the guys over at Steam Deck HQ have reviewed the game's performance on PC and Steam, as far as the Steam Deck performance, I should say. It is something that you can play it on Steam Deck. They were pretty upfront about it, that it could be better, and it can look pretty sloppy in terms of the character models, and yeah, like, looking at it, it's certainly playable, but this is a next-gen title. Whenever it comes to true PS5 and Xbox Series titles running on the Steam Deck, I always try to give them, like, yo, it's a portable device. There's gonna be limitations to what the deck is gonna be able to do. The fact that it can run and a lot of times maintain 60 FPS in battles, it does dip into the 40s in, like, really heavy scenes, that's still pretty damn good, all things considered. Like, I know that the reviewer who looked at it, as far as performance goes, wasn't that hot about it. Certainly said that it was playable, but man, anytime a PS5 game is, like, running at even a playable level on the deck, I'm a little bit impressed by that, I'm not gonna lie. So I think this is something that if you do have a deck, you're gonna be able to play it, but let me know your guys' thoughts on that. And definitely check out their video. I thought it definitely gave a great outlook, and they've actually played it on the deck. I am just saying, from looking at it, you know, I'm gonna give them a little bit of a leash to not perform as best, given that this is a legit next-gen title on the deck, which I still find it to be impressive. Hopefully it'll be optimized more, and it would be great to get clarity directly from Bandai Namco on the status of it, playable, verified, all that stuff prior to release, but what can you do? That's gonna do it for me. Again, reviews are coming in and they're incredibly strong. Again, I know 84 might have this perception of not being that great of a score, but really solid, all things considered, I would say. Especially, again, Tenkaichi 3, you guys, has a 72 on Metacritic. Like, anime games, I feel like, always got a little bit of the shorter end of the stick. Sparking Zero Deluxe Edition codes being sent out by our friends at Green Man Gaming for PC. Link in the description box below. Go check that out. Steam Deck performance, not the best, but certainly still playable based on what I'm saying. I'll leave a link to Steam Deck HQ in the description box below. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.